Good morning, Purium people. It's David Litt. So glad to have you on this Facebook Live. Going to be talking about follow-up today. I requested a couple of subjects. If anybody had any training subjects that they wanted me to talk about, I got a bunch. So thanks so much for the feedback. Sorry I couldn't answer or handle them all, but we'll get to them as we go forward. So thanks for giving me that feedback. Want to know how I can help. So. See the call loading up. We're going to get started here pretty quickly. If you're on the line, just let me know that you're there. And we'll get rolling. Who's that sending hearts? Hey, Andrew, welcome. Thanks for being on. Going to get started in just a minute. Going to be talking about follow-up today. A little different skill than we've covered so far. Hey, Deirdre, welcome. Yep, appreciate the good ideas from everybody, and we'll try to get to as many of them as we can over the next couple weeks. Deidre, I will say hi to Fernanda. We are heading out to the Big Island of Hawaii, so going to be going a Crown trip super early tomorrow. I will not be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow or throughout the next week or so. I may jump on and do a Facebook Live from Crown trip just so you can meet some of the crowns and see what's going on in the Big Island. So I may do one or two random ones as we go throughout the weekend, but no training planned for a week. So next training will be next Wednesday. All right. Hey, Sarah. I think Sarah may have been the person who requested follow-up, or maybe Sarah requested launching and relaunching her business. So we'll get to that one for sure. It's a good subject too. So. Alrighty, well, I'm going to get rolling here. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for being on. And I'm just going to start into this, and it's a great subject. I do have a bit of, let's call it, professional sales skills. I worked with the Microsoft Corporation with their top salespeople, did a special project with them and interviewed them and learned a lot of the different skills that they use. So feel like early in my career I did some kind of old school media sales and feel like I'm somewhat qualified to talk about this subject. So most of this information is kind of my perspective. There's certainly lots of information out there on the internet about how to do follow-up, but let's start with, there's a couple of different things that we're following up on. So there's follow-up on somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, or there's follow-up with somebody you just talked to but they didn't say yes. So, we'll kind of cover both of them as we go through. So the first thing is that, in a perfect world, when you have conversations with people, especially customer conversations about trying our product, that, you want to continue to become more and more effective at getting people to say yes and to try the product. And so, the best follow-up is no follow-up because somebody has already decided to take action. So, the two things that I would really, make sure that you use is if you're having a customer conversation, to use the 60-day money-back guarantee. So if you're talking to somebody about trying the product, whether it's 10-day transformation, whether it's Biomedic or sprays or any of the products we have, just go to our Superfood Superstore. It's super easy. Use my gift card code, save $50, and we have a 60-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not happy, no worries. You can just send it back. So that's a great closing, which eliminates follow-up. And then as far as the business side goes, most people are more comfortable making product decisions than business decisions, but I really recommend that you utilize your upline more. And so that's one of the things I find over and over and over again is that people try to do things themselves. And so, they're talking to their friend, they're talking about how awesome the business is. Their friend is kind of close, interested, but not sure how to make the decision. Really bring in 1, 2, sometimes 3 people from your upline. I want to introduce you to so-and-so. I want to introduce you to so-and-so. This person's been successful. So the best follow-up when you're in the process of trying to get somebody to do something is no follow-up. But let's just say that you do have a meeting with somebody, it's a phone conversation, it's text back and forth, it's a, Zoom, it's a face-to-face meeting, whatever it may be, and they say, this really sounds interesting, but, I want to get back with my spouse, I want to think about it, I'm not sure, this sounds good, but I'm busy right now. So the important thing is you never end a meeting without the next meeting. So I want to think about it, blah, 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 blah. That's awesome. I would love for you to, make sure you're making a good decision. Want you to do all your due diligence. when would be the best time for me to get back to you? Or can I get back to you on Tuesday? Or can I get back to you tomorrow night? Or, so I would try to keep the follow-up window small, but I would get a commitment as to when it is that they're going to follow up, because that's when you go from being annoying to being professional. So that, I think, is one of the biggest mistakes that people make in regards to ending a meeting and following up, is that if you don't get that commitment from somebody and they say, oh, I'm not sure, I got to think about it, and you say, okay, see you later, bye. Now you're calling back 2 days later, 3 days later, 5 days later, 7 days later, and you don't have a commitment from that person that they want to hear from you again or how they want to hear from you again. And so therefore, your idea of professional follow-up might be different than what they're thinking. So by getting that commitment, they may say, yeah, I want to think about it, and you know what, I don't get paid until the 15th, and so why don't you call me on the 16th? That way you're not following up on the 7th, the 9th, the 12th, the 13th, and you're annoying them, but you don't know you're annoying them. So never end a meeting without a meeting. That's a really important part of follow-up, because once they make that commitment to hear from you again, then it becomes so much easier. You're empowered to help them to make a decision. The next thing is you want to control the conversation and make sure that you're the one following up with them, not them following up with you. So when you get that commitment of, hey, would it be okay if we reconnect on Tuesday? Don't say, all right, why don't you call me on Tuesday? It's no, I'll call you on Tuesday. And that's really important in all follow-up. Like even at a trade show, as an example, one of the biggest mistakes that people make at a trade show is they hand out information. They hand out gift cards. They hand out business cards. They hand out flyers and information. The reality is you want to be collecting information. You want to be collecting business cards. Because you want to be in control of the follow-up. Because I can tell you that, using trade show as an example, it's very, very rare that your prospect who saw your awesome presentation, your awesome product, your awesome opportunity is going to look through their bag of stuff at the trade show and proactively follow up with you. You got to collect the business cards. You got to collect the names. You have to have the sheet that you're following up on. So it's really important that you set up a meeting if you can, that you control the follow-up, and that you want to be organized. You want to be professional. You want to be calling when you say you're going to call. You want to be following up or texting on the day that you say you will, because that shows that you're serious. And that's what people want. People want to know, is the business going to work, but will it work for them? And what kind of support am I going to get? What kind of person am I working with? I was sharing on a Zoom call the other day, I found myself in the midst of launching a company many years back, and I was doing three-way phone calls at 2 a.m. on the East Coast time. I was on the East Coast. I was doing phone calls, maybe 10:30 at night Pacific time, 1:30 in the morning East Coast time, and the call was wrapping up pretty close to 2 o'clock. Well, guess what? The person on the line on Pacific time, they signed up. How could they not sign up? Because they knew the type of support they were going to get if I'm on a phone call at almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So you want to be professional. You want to follow up when you say you're going to follow up, and that is not annoying. So if I say call me on Wednesday and you don't call me on Wednesday, that's a problem. So if I say call me on Wednesday and follow up. Now you want your follow-up to be with purpose. So again, I'm going to jump back and forth between follow-ups after a meeting or follow-ups with people that you haven't talked to in a while. Follow-ups after a meeting, you want to be really specific and put them back into the place where they were about to make the decision. So, hey, David, I'm calling you, glad to reconnect. Last time we met, you said you were really excited about the product. You loved the idea of losing weight. You wanted to set up a group cleanse and blah, 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 blah. So let me know where are we with that. So you don't want to cycle all the way back to how's it going or what's up or, what do you think or these really open-ended questions. So the process of a sales process is starting with the open-ended questions. The beginning conversation is always about how's it going, what can we do, where are you at, what's going on in your life, how can I help you? But once they start to come to a decision, and presumably you're following up because they're getting close to a decision, you want to bring them back to that point of decision and then have them finish out that decision. So I'm going to call you and I'm going to get you into that mode of where you left off of you love this, you love this, you love this. This was the thing you were thinking about. Can we launch that group cleanse? And so it's always great to have those assumptive conversations, which is this is where we left off and hey, we're ready to do this. I'm ready to do this. Let's do this group cleanse. I'll make sure it's successful. So you want to be sharing your passion with purpose, leaning forward, saying, hey, almost like I've decided we're going to do this. I hope you've decided. So you don't want to be way back saying, hey, what do you think? As far as following up with somebody you haven't talked to in a while, I think it's always good to be following up with purpose as well, and following up with new information. So let's just say that for some reason we talked, you considered joining Purium as a brand partner 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, you decided not to. So if I call you up or I text you and say, hey, what's up? What do you think of Purium? There's no new information, for you to react to or to interact with. But if I say, hey, we've got this awesome new fundraising program, I thought of you because I thought you had something to do with fundraising. Give me a ring or text me back. Let me know what fundraiser you're into. So having a purpose, or hey, last time we talked, I know it was kind of, wrong time. It was back to school time, but now we're heading into transformation season. I'm starting this big group cleanse. You want to join me on this, So have a purpose, have a reason, be specific. So that's the thing that I find with follow-up, is that people are oftentimes way too kind of, hey, how's it going? Or what about Purium? You want to bring them to that point where, they left off and maybe even a step or two forward, so that you're kind of running and they're going to be pacing with you. Another thing that's important too is if you do make a commitment, they make a commitment, hey, follow up with me on Tuesday. And, try to figure out, what's the best way to communicate with them. So get that when you're setting that meeting after the meeting, should I call you? Should I text you? Should I, send you a Facebook Messenger? Whatever it may be. But then if for some reason they don't respond and you send them a text, and then they don't respond the next day and they send you a text, then maybe try a Facebook Messenger, or maybe try a phone call, or maybe try something different. So don't assume just because you don't hear back from somebody right away. They said follow up on Tuesday, you call or you text and you don't hear from them till Wednesday, or don't hear anything, that you assume they don't want to do this. This is, don't get those negative thoughts kind of rolling in your head as far as, oh, this is just wrong for them and blah, 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 blah. It may just be that, their kids had an unexpected, baseball game. They didn't realize that it was a commitment they made a while back, and, or something's popped up, or, who knows? There's a million things that go on in life where, somebody makes a commitment. As a prospect, they're in control. They're the ones with the money. They're the ones who are, you're courting them. So, they're going to be, not necessarily purposefully hard to get, but they're going to be at their leisure. So, it's your energy is trying to help them to make a decision. And don't just assume that if they don't immediately respond that they're not wanting to do this. Just assume that they're busy, and, kind of communicate with them in that way. So don't try to make them feel guilty. I've seen that before, where it's, you said you were going to be available on Tuesday. How come you didn't? That happens to me sometimes too. I'm in charge of marketing for Purium. And so people are trying to solicit different, products, programs, tools, whatever. And, they're like, hey, can you be available Tuesday? I'm like, yeah, I think I can. And then suddenly they're contacting me. Well, they're low on my priority list. I have a lot of other things higher. And if for some reason I can't make it, and if they, ping me back and say, you missed, where were you, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't make me feel good versus, hey, sorry, we weren't able to connect today. Would tomorrow or Thursday work for you? Then I'm thinking, okay, this person is professional. They're respecting my time. They're respecting my space. They understand things happen. So the last thing is be clear when you're moving on. So I think there is a point at which, we meet face to face, we have a great conversation, you're excited, I'm excited, you're not ready to say yes to be a brand partner. You need to get back with your spouse, you need to think about it, you need to check your checkbook, see where you're at, blah, 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 blah. You say you're going to follow, I say, we agree that we're going to follow up on Tuesday with a phone call. I call you on Tuesday, you're not around. I call you on Wednesday, you're not around. I text you on Thursday. There has to be a point where I say, hey, listen, I know we had a great meeting last week. Sounds like you're super busy. Is there a time or a way I can get back to you? Otherwise, I'm just going to move on and follow up with you in another month or two. So there is a point at which your time is getting wasted, and where you have to show and draw a line and say, hey, I love you. I care about you. I want to help you. I think this is the right thing. You think this is the right thing, but I'm not going to drive myself or you crazy on this. And, it's all good. So, the main solution in that is to have more people in the pipeline, more conversations happening, and then follow-up becomes less desperate and kind of more exciting. It's just more fun to be seeing, who you can get back with and who you can finish out the conversation. And remember, if you're trying to get them in as a customer, use that 60-day money-back guarantee. If you're trying to get them in as a brand partner, use your upline, 1, 2, 3 people, show them some different tools, send them some different information, make sure it's new and fresh, and share your excitement, share your passion with a purpose, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of success. So be professional, follow up. That's a big part of being successful and bringing in new brand partners especially, and have some fun, and let's make it happen. So thanks for the great comment. Thanks for the great subject. So once again, I am not going to be doing regular training Facebook Lives till next Wednesday. Going to be at Crown Trip, going to be on the Big Island of Hawaii. I'll probably pop on and do a couple of Facebook Lives at some point in Hawaii, just so you can see how beautiful it is and help you to set your vision for being at the 2018 Crown Trip. So, and for those of you who are going to be at Crown Trip, see you on Thursday.